The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Bel bows down. Nebo stoops. Their idols were on the beasts and on the cattle. Your carriages were heavy loaded, a burden to the weary beasts. They stoop. They bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but have themselves gone into captivity. Listen to me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, who have been upheld by me from birth, who have been carried from the womb, even to your old age. I am he, and even to gray hairs, I will carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry and deliver you. To whom will you liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we should be alike? They lavish gold out of the bag, and weigh silver on the scales. They hire a goldsmith, and he makes it a god. They prostrate themselves, yes, they worship. They bear it on the shoulder. They carry it and set it in its place, and it stands. From its place it shall not move. Though one cries out to it, yet it cannot answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this and show yourselves, men. Recall to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old. For I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the beginning from the end, and from ancient times things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a bird of prey from the east, the man who executes my counsel from a far country, indeed I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Listen to me, you stubborn-hearted, who are far from righteousness. I will bring my righteousness near. It shall not be far off. My salvation shall not linger, and I will place salvation in Zion, for Israel my glory.
Babylon thought it could never fall, that its power and wealth would last forever. But Isaiah 46 and 47 reminds us that pride always meets its match when it stands against God. Idols may crumble, kingdoms may collapse, but the one true God still carries his people. Let's get into it. As always, be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast here with your host,
Nakhaz Gay.
Earl Roberts, back here for episode 270?
270.
It's wild. 270 episodes. My goodness.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
But God is good, man. Got a full episode catalog.
Yeah, that's a lot of episodes, but that's a lot of files.
Amen. God is good. Yeah, boy. The storage getting fuller and fuller. Oh my, how are you doing?
I feel good, bro. Had to fast today. The scale was starting to do the opposite effect, you know, when you're looking at a trend and the trend going the other way. You know what I mean? So you're a little fasting today because fasting, I mean, it helps the scale immediately. So you fast one day, the next day you step on the scale, you might be down 2-3 pounds instantly, right? But it also, your body burns all of the excess carbs that in your body. So I do a 24-hour fast. After that day, the next day, I don't really have appetite urges. And I used to be like, man, that's crazy, bro. Like your body in starvation mode. But then I do a little more study on it, and it's that, carbs are sugars. basically. And sugars have a very addictive quality to it, right? And carbs, when your body stores it, it turns into fat. That's fat is just stored carbs or whatever. And so within that first 24 hours, your body uses the reserve that it has, right? And once that reserve done, and they need energy, they're like, where are we going? Where we can find it? Oh, let's go to what we already have in the storage, and that's where you start burning fat or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I is use I is now I try to get a fast in. That's my first day. Then the rest of the time when I diet in, I try to keep the carbs low.
Mm.
That way, I don't give my body too much, and it could take from what already here. And I don't really have a like strong cravings, bro. That's what just kill me, bro. It just be cravings, bro. Like if I on a diet and I doing good for a month, and then I spend the weekend, I go to a wedding or something like that, but I completely out of whack, bro. I haven't, I can't, I have to eat fast food or have to eat this, have to eat that, and that's because these carbs they're already excited in my body now, and it's like I just want more and more, and it almost like insatiable. But once you get by that fast, bro, your fast is telling your body, bro, I don't care what these cravings say. I ignore that. And once you burn that out, in my experience, you should be straight with the self discipline, bro. So that's what I on right now, bro.
That's good.
And yeah, what about you though?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I am thankful for the Sabbath. Lord knows. I am thankful for the Sabbath. Give thanks in all things, man. So, I am thankful.
And the Sabbath coming early these days.
Boy, I tell you, boy.
You can get a nap in before the pod.
Boy, this time change is no joke, boy. I say, boy, I feel like when time change in the fall, it's like you can have earlier evenings. But I just feel like every year getting slightly more earlier than it was the year before. I don't know if like every year just busier than I was the year before, but like, my goodness.
I don't remember feeling like this ever in my life, bro. I do remember in school when it's like you would play a basketball game and it's nighttime before the game and in the spring it ain't like that. So like you have that point of reference to compare, right? But I just don't remember time change having this impact on me, bro. Like everything feels so much later now, bro. Like,
Right,
but it's
like
only 1 hour. You see what I'm
that's
saying?
not, like
Like,
that's the crazy thing, bro. Like I feel like sun setting as early as it used to set. Like when I was in Washington, because when he up north in time change, buddy.
what time is like one of the early?
My son used to set like I feel like sometimes like around 3:45, 4 o'clock, bro.
No, that's actually ridiculous.
Like I'm like my God, but like at 5 o'clock, but it is night. It is night at
That's
5 o'clock.
ridiculous, bro.
Like I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. You
But
know what it
like,
is?
go
Sour
for it.
come and it's still a work week, bro. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's what but like you get off of work and it's like it's Sabbath.
yeah, I
You
mean, but
better.
even if you work till 5, bro, if it's like
That's what I'm
12:30
saying.
and sunset, like
It's like, wait, what? Oh my. But then imagine if you was living in like in Alaska or something where now that's like
you could go
interesting.
months.
Now that's an interesting thought experiment, right? Because like when does when does the day start and stop? When the sun don't go down or come up?
But the more I learn, bro, the more I realize, bro, sometimes like some of these ancient laws or just ways of life was really contingent on the people and what they experience here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot copy and paste this perfectly everywhere else. You see what I'm saying? So the Sabbath is the Sabbath, sundown to sundown. We know that, right? But people didn't have clocks. You see what I'm saying? Like they would use the sun and maybe the moon. I don't know if people used to track the time that accurately or that
Mm-hmm.
intensely during the night because I just assume you go to sleep. You see what
Box.
I'm saying? Is what it is. I mean, you might be on guard at night or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but whatever. And so, um, if it's night all the time, like in some of these other countries where you might have months, weeks where it's just complete nighttime, or even the inverse where it's just complete daytime, you can't apply the sundown to sundown metric.
Not
You
at
see what I'm
all.
saying? You can't apply it. It just does not work for that. So
Wait,
now
go for it. Keep
with
going.
modern technology here, we know you still have to use a little bit of manual there because you have to say this is when the sun is set for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Like it's so funny, bro. I have never ever thought about like the people in the north and the extreme south. How they even like really keep like monitor their days. I mean, you have to at that point you have to be using like just a clock, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
I just never like dawned on me. I was like, yeah, I know. 6 months of the year, the sun in the sky, and the next 6 months the sun don't come up. He's like, you know that, right? But like, I never thought about what that meant for like Sabbath.
Yeah, I would imagine that even like some people might just like purposely move away from them areas, like back in the old times, because it's like this doesn't really benefit a natural human pattern right here, bro. Like they ain't no blackout curtains. I mean, they probably had something to block out the room, you know, but the quality of sleep you're getting in the night is far greater than you're getting in the day. You know, another thing I think about too, if you're traveling on a Friday day
Mm-hmm.
to somewhere, let's say China, right? By the time you get there, it's like
Saturday night.
Saturday night. You get what I'm saying? Like you might have spent 10 hours or with the overlap where the Sabbath was, right? Or even when you go to Dubai, like when we was in Dubai, it was already I can't remember the time difference, and I ain't trying to do the math just for this flow of conversation, but it was a time when our Sabbath would have started a certain time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's clearly not that time right now in Dubai. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? And so us like when
You
on
essentially spent Sabbath on the plane because like when me and Izzy flew there, we flew there on a Friday evening. So essentially by the time we get in Dubai, it was already Saturday night.
right, but let's say you wasn't flying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your body know when it's Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Your body know when it's nighttime, just based on how your habits, right? If it's Friday night or even Saturday day, bro, but it's Dubai is forward or backward or behind?
Forward.
Forward, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's Friday night. No, let's say it's Saturday morning on your body timeline. But Dubai is Saturday night. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's Saturday night, bro. Like, do you go with the law of the land or do you go with the law of your body? You see what I'm saying? Like,
That's an interesting thing, but
cause
me,
I
I would
ha-
be like, because at the end of the day, because like, okay, like let's say you're there for a week. So now you could be in a different conundrum when you're there on Saturday day, but to your body is Friday evening.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like at a certain point, you gotta adjust to the line you're in.
Yeah, at a certain point, right? Yeah, I mean, we just shooting the breeze right now, right? But it was to the point because we was there for I think we were there for 2 Saturdays. I think we were there for 2 Saturdays. Probably not. But anyway, we were there for a Saturday for sure.
Mhm.
So when it was when it was I think it came a time when you say they ahead.
Yeah, they ahead.
Okay, so sunset in Dubai. So it's Friday night. It's
Hmm.
blatantly Friday night. Me and Yana might have had one meal that day just because how our sleep pattern was. We was trying to catch some of the day, whatever, right?
Hmm.
It's Sabbath where we supposed to be. You know what I mean? But we need to make certain provisions. We need to eat. You know what I mean? Might need to do this or that, right? And so it's like, all right, which Sabbath, which Sabbath we could follow right now? We can follow back home or we can follow Dubai. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, let's follow Dubai. That give us like no Sabbath, like or half a Sabbath. You see what I'm saying? And so the next day, we we go to church or whatever, right? But throughout the day, sun would have already set on the other side. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like whatever you can see it through, or I know I just don't know what protocol is here, bro. Because it's like you could say, all right, since I sticking with Dubai Sabbath, since I sticking with Dubai Sabbath, I could just see it through, right? But it might be something that you need to do on your side of the world. Like let's say you have a homework assignment that's due. You know what I mean? You gotta cut it. I don't know. Yeah, I might be thinking about it too deep, but yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment that I actually never actually thought about.
Yeah, like some of these things, bro, like it would have to change depending on where you are with it. Like part of the
Yeah.
world.
And then at the same time too, it's like when these things was written, it wasn't like you was traveling 15 time zones in the span of a day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
even if you was like going from Israel to Greece, for example, right? You was taking it on horseback or camel, so you was still getting your days in,
By
even
the
though you
time you make
travel
it there, it would have been
exactly, or
several
you
days
traveling by
later.
boat and
Yeah.
you still getting your days in.
Hmm.
So modern technology has created quite a conundrum.
Yeah, creating problems that. Oh, that's another thing I was thinking about, right? Like,
Twig man can be like, y'all thinking about this too deep.
yeah, I was thinking about it because I was listening to someone and they say Islam is perfect, not the people, right?
Oh boy.
And I don't have an opinion on that, but I did think that was a good defense because that's essentially how I
People
feel.
say
I
the
feel,
same thing about Christianity.
but they say it like it was a phrase, just a readily available phrase. Like Islam is perfect, not the people. Not like as soon as you say Islam is perfect, not the, like that was the response. Like when I've said that, I would have had to think that through as an original thought. Like to say like there's a lot of malpractice in Christians. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
We are and the people are not perfect. You see what I'm saying? But God is perfect. You know the inspired word is perfect. Whatever. Some people debate that too, but anyway. But I was just thinking, I was like, okay, how deep can we hold this to be perfect, right? Because
mm,
perfect means flawless, right?
mm-hmm.
But perfect could also mean complete in a way. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
um, now we have AI, right? We know what a relationship should consist of, right? We know
Oh
what
boy.
cheating is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sooner or later, you're gonna be able to create a person or create a robot to be there for you. And you know, some people can take it very far, right? The Bible clearly
They
doesn't
have
go.
movies on this already.
They have too many movies on this, bro. That's the crazy thing, bro. They have an
Hey,
insane amount of movies on this exact scenario,
right?
bro.
Say, tell people, boy, they preparing you for what's to come.
I actually,
Unfortunately,
I actually started watching a movie with robots and like they becoming autonomous, and it was a show. I started watching it because I like, bro. This starting to be too close to home. When this came out 2015, it was like, oh yeah, this is the future. But now it's like, oh, this might be tomorrow, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But whatever. But yeah, so I was just thinking about how like, when technology advances, we're gonna be in different scenarios that the Bible does not directly mention. Like this gray area, you know, and it's gonna be interesting, like navigating that. I had an example now where there's gray area, and people say, hey, do this or don't do this. And I was like, bro, when the Bible was written, they wasn't concerned about this thing now. This thing came about way later. I can't remember
I
what it
mean,
was.
it's interesting, right? Because like obviously, like how I look at it, the Bible laid down the foundations and the principles you should follow, and even though it don't account for like every technological advancement, is like, bro, here are the rules in which you should live by and apply this to the current any situation you face. Because I mean, like, how would someone 2,000 years ago even conceptualize what a robot would be?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even have electricity, bro. They
Yeah.
did not like it's so much other technological advancement that had to happen for them even to conceptualize what this thing is. That's so come like you hear pictures like think about John having to describe the end of the world. He only could describe it in things he could understand. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He talking about like, oh, fire rained down from heaven and destroyed a third of the world population. If you look at a nuclear bomb or something, the only way you could, oh, missile, the only thing you could describe it as is fire coming down. You can't be like, oh, that's a missile, that's an actual bomb, because bro, you don't have words in your own vocabulary to describe these things you are seeing.
Hmm.
So you only could use what you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm
I,
saying? So it's like the Bible, like the people who were inspired by God to tell you about the times of the end only could use the vocabulary of the time.
yeah, I always just think about how like if I was around like King Solomon, if we could time travel, like how would I describe the internet to him? Like how would I like describe that? You know? And I always just think like how would you describe an airplane? Like if I showed King Solomon an airplane, like and I say how when you go back to your time and you tell them what you see, what you could just they probably could say it's a bird, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But think about like an airplane, almost easy to describe. You'd be like, yo, it's a bird made out of metal that people could fit in. But almost like try to describe like a helicopter to them, bro. Like a helicopter is a harder description. It's like, but you could say like it has swords that rotate, and but by the rotating of these swords very fast, it lifts this boat-like thing up into the sky. You're like how do you begin to describe this to them? Because you can use what they know.
Yeah,
Or
bro,
be like, it's a metal boat that flies. Then the next thing will be like, how does metal float? Because the average person can't even tell you how metal float.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but it's good things to think about, bro. I really don't want to do this, but it's just on the tip of my tongue, bro. Like,
just go for it. Then we get into the word more directly, I should say.
I don't know if you have a response to this. I don't have a response to this. I don't even delve into this too deeply. Some people are concerned with the use of the letter J in describing Jehovah, Jesus, these things. Some people say Yahuwah, Yahweh. Some people say Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? The tetragrammaton is just the consonants in the word Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
And translators and transliterators, they try to apply vowels to this thing, which in the original language, it wouldn't have been necessary to. But now there are people saying, bro, you used the wrong name. This is a sin. Or this is wrong. Or this is X, Y, Z. And I'm just like, bro, when they was writing this, do they know that this was going to be such a topic of discussion? And even like if you transliterate the tetragrammaton, because I know someone who says it's Yahweh, Yahwah, or something like that. And then, you have people say Yahweh, X, Y, Z. That's like, this wasn't a problem. At some point in time, this wasn't a problem. Now it's a problem to some. You get what I'm saying?
My thing is like, language as you know it has evolved throughout the years, bro. So I mean, like whereas I understand people's concerns, and then people would argue that there's power in the name. If you're not using the right name, you're not really calling upon the power. I do hear all of those arguments. I guess me personally, I don't think it's that much of a salvific issue, and I could be wrong, and I could gotta do more research. Because here's the thing, man. If you go back 200 years, the English we speak today wasn't the English that they spoke. You go back 1,000 years, the English that they spoke then ain't the English that was spoken then. You know what I'm saying? Like, even think about when the King James version was written, bro. I mean, even though sometimes I'd be like, "How art thou?" Just being just like how I talk sometimes to greet people. No one says art anymore in that sense, bro. No one says thou. No one says shout. People barely say shall anymore. You know what I'm saying? So and who knows how the English language as we know it today is going to transform in the next 200 years. You know what I'm saying? So the letter J, yes, it didn't exist for a point in time in human history as we know it. But then they developed a letter that described a sound that was phonetically starting to be spoken more and more and more in today's society, in the society today. And so now this word, this sound started to more tend towards this J sound. Now, is that wrong? Is that right? I don't know. And to your point, it's like I know you don't have an answer for it. I don't have an answer for it, but it's like to me, issues like that based on a conviction basis. Like if you are truly convicted to say one or the other, I think you should hold on to that. I think this goes to one of the things when Paul was saying, like, telling the Jews, yo, the Gentiles who now following Jesus, if they're not convicted to not eat the meat that was sacrificed to idols, but it's still clean meat, but you convicted not to eat that meat because it was sacrificed to idols, even though the meat is clean, you shouldn't hold that against them because they ain't like they doing nothing wrong. I'm saying, but you just have a different conviction than them. So now why should you let your own personal conviction be a stumbling block for someone else who ain't doing nothing wrong? And again, to the Jews, the Gentiles were doing something wrong, but Paul was saying, bro, this ain't really wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they have a different set of convictions than you in this particular matter. So I think, to me personally, I think this argument falls under one of these things. If you God convict you to do one thing, that's you. Just like in the story of Samson, bro, everyone wasn't a Nazarite. You know what I'm saying? Or what was he again? It was a
That's right.
Nazarite. Nazarite. Everyone, bro, it was Israelites there, but he had the Nazarite vow. So he wasn't supposed to cut his hair. But if me and Samson was best friends and I cut my hair, bro, Donnie said if I cut my hair, I ain't make this vow. But you living on a different set of rules right now because you want a different set of conviction, and even more deeply in Samson's case, you want a different oath before God. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what that argument falls under. Who knows? Ask me in 30 years, I might be convicted another way, but at this current moment, I'm not going to waste any time arguing someone about the letter J.
Yeah, no, I respect everybody's stance on it. But I just saying, like, I feel like in 10 years there might be something completely new, bro, where they're like, bro, this is an issue that it wasn't one before, and it wasn't in before that and before that. You know what I mean?
I don't even think. I feel like I almost guarantee there will be, bro, because the devil loves sowing seeds of discord among God's children, bro. Because if I can get y'all to bicker about the things that ultimately don't matter, y'all ain't actually talking about the things that do matter. You know, if I can have y'all majoring in the minors, I win. You know what I'm saying? If the devil can keep you in confusion, he wins. You know what I'm saying? He keeps you in this seed of doubt, he wins. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, he's going to come and sow more confusion. Like right now, it's confusion amongst a bunch of different denominations. Bro, if Christianity is the only religion with the most denominations. Why? Confusion and doubt right there.
Yeah.
We have the most different translations of our holy book. Again, one camp says, hey, this is better for understanding and yada yada yada. I hear you out. But then some of these versions, they start to change the true meaning of what the original text even say. So can we even say that that's a good thing? Because if I do agree with probably making it easy to understand, but now if I'm making it easy to understand, but I'm changing the meaning of what you're understanding, is that truly still a good thing?
Yeah.
I personally say it's not a good thing, because I need you to understand the true, authentic word of Christ. I ain't saying it need to be the thou shalt, version, but it does need to be a version that keeps the integrity of the holy text of what God is trying to convey his children to believe and get to know him.
And that's a big one.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's like these conversations to me is still good because it still brings like different perspectives out of people. It gets you thinking. It gets you like just developing an opinion of your own. But like, I mean, someone could probably challenge me like, yeah, like we really did need this yada yada version of the Bible because yada 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 reason, right? But then my next question would be like, so if we needed that one, what about the other 50? Did we truly need all of them?
I agree, bro. It's too many versions, bro. Too many versions.
Like, I remember when we was going to the 23rd Psalms. I'm like, bro, I only know the 23rd Psalms in King James.
For sure. Sometimes people just quote the 23rd Psalms in a different way, and I'm like,
what you mean?
what?
You
Like,
know
why do
what
you
I'm
do
saying?
that? Or the Lord's Prayer. Some people just quote that in like an NIV or something. I'm like, why? Why do you know this? You know what I mean?
Like certain things are just know one way. And again, that's me just been the way I was brought up, the way I know, the way I was taught. And I ain't saying the other, like, it's just, to me, and again, I know I don't want to beat the dead horse too much longer so we can keep on going, right? But it's like, ultimately, I feel like we as Christians should focus on the major things and then stop minoring on the minor things. Because a lot of people don't even have the major things correct yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people we can still reach. And then when you start fighting about the letter J and someone don't even know who Christ is and why the importance of him dying for you, I think you kind of missing the point to a certain extent. Like, do they need to believe in the J to be saved, or do they actually need to get to know Christ to be saved? And as they accept him, as they come into the faith, some of these things you can start introducing them to. if it's so important to you, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like sometimes, man, we lose sight of the main goal, and I think that's when the devil starts to win because now he's keeping you in fighting versus trying to reach other people and minister for God. And yeah, we all guilty getting sidetracked on that, but yeah.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, some interesting things that just run through my mind every now and then, bro. I have a couple more, but I ain't getting to it now.
I was
We
like, do
gotta
you
go.
want to? Do you even want to go to Psalms? You just want to touch Isaiah?
Let's go to Isaiah.
All right, all right. So we in Isaiah
46.
40, 46.
Yeah.
46. All right. Um, I mean, like, just as a quick recap, I mean, last week's episode, we kind of highlighted the story of Cyrus coming to save how God prophesied that Cyrus, the Persian king, was going to be the one who defeated Babylon and released the Israelites back from captivity. And again, the significance of that was just ensuring that God is a God who has control of everything. You know what I'm saying? God is a God who can not only predict the future, cause it to come to pass, and show you his almighty power. We serve a God who, and we're gonna get into this again in these upcoming chapters. We serve a God who is greater than your idols. And again, he was just reminding Israel of, yeah, you guys are about to go into captivity, but I'm going to be the God that redeems you. I'm going to give you a Messiah. And we see he entered last chapter into like a Messiah in Cyrus who's going to release you guys from captivity from Babylon, but he also prophesied about a forthcoming Messiah, even past that, the Savior of the world, who's actually going to like save you, how give you everlasting life. And we know Cyrus was none of those things. And so we're seeing like God just always prophesying a message of hope to his people and a hope that he's going to save them for themselves. So it was not only just them. He said, I'm going to save the whole world. And we know that that part wasn't related to Cyrus. That part was related to the ultimate true Messiah in Jesus. So that's kind of what we're picking up from in this chapter. So let's go Isaiah 46. Let's do it. Okay. Bel bows down. Nebo stoops. Their idols were on the beast and on the cattles. Your carriages were heavily loaded, a burden to the weary beast. They stoop, they bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but have themselves gone into captivity. Listen to me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, who have been upheld by me from birth, and who have been carried from the womb, even to your old age. I am he. And even to your gray hairs I will carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry and deliver you. To whom will you liken me? And make me equal, and compare me that I should be alike. They lavish gold out of the bag, they weigh silver on the scales, they hire a goldsmith and he makes it a god. They prostrate themselves, yes, they worship, they bear it on the shoulder, they carry it and set it in its place, and it stands. From its high place it shall not move, though one cries out to it, yet it cannot answer. Nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this, and show yourselves, men. Recall to mind, O you transgressions. Remember the former things of old. For I am God, and there is no other. For I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times that are not yet done. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure, calling a bird of prey from the east, the man who executes my counsel from a far country. Indeed, I have spoken it, I will bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will do it also. Listen to me, you stubborn hearted, who are far from righteousness. I bring my righteousness near. It shall not be far off. My salvation shall not linger. And I will place salvation in Zion for Israel, my glory. Woo!
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
that's a powerful chapter right there, too, boy.
Yeah. So this is another episode of the God Just Talking That Talk series.
Yeah, bro.
Mhm.
It's crazy, right? Because like I always remember Job for God talking that talk,
Mhm.
But in Isaiah, God really get busy with them too, bro. Like God was like, bro, let me tell y'all who I is, bro, because y'all, it seem like y'all forget. Like this, like the fifth chapter in a row. God was like, bro, this who I is, bro. And y'all, these idols y'all worshiping, bro, like this don't make sense. But let me tell y'all, this don't make sense. These idols y'all worshiping heavy. Y'all got to carry them from place to place. They burdening down you. They burdening down your camel. They burdening down your oxen. These things just as burdens to you because you got to carry them. But me, as an all-powerful God, I don't need you to carry me. I don't exist in space and time. But guess what I can do for you? I can carry you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Straight
bro,
up.
God just talking that talk right now, bro.
Yeah, this one of several times when God breaking down the anatomy of an idol. Right. I breaking it down from the jump. I walking you through how to make this. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Kool-Aid, right? The instructions on the pocket. You add the water, you apply this, you mix
The
sugar,
sugar. You gotta
and
can't forget the sugar.
sugar, right? Then you stir it, and you trying to compare that to mango juice or mango puree. Tell me how to make mango juice, bro. Tell me how to make like apple juice. Like how to make the apple. Like how to you see what I'm saying? Like you see how these two cannot be compared, bro? Like
Exactly.
you put together these things for your steps, and then you come up with a finished product. This product is already made. This product is superior. So imagine someone saying, "Oh yeah, but I better than you at XYZ, right?" And then you turn around and say, "Bro, for you to be even seen in my light,
Mm-hmm.
you have to wake up early in the morning. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to da da da. Da. I ain't doing none of that. I just coming out and I killing. You see what I'm saying? In whatever situation we talking about, here. God showing you from the base level how trivial, like how menial these things are. They're inanimate objects. And then this time he even give them a little bit of props because he say silver and gold. Last time he said
What?
this was wood. You know what I mean?
You say for y'all who say, "Oh, we better than them," said because they doing what else? We got a little bit more money. We doing silver and gold. Cause all right, don't worry. I heard y'all talking in the back. I got something for y'all.
but okay, so just off the top of your head, that the wood one, he was talking to Judah, right? He was talking to his people,
Yeah,
I believe, right? This time he talking to Babylon.
Babylon. Yep.
So we got to make it a little more applicable now. If I say wood, they can clutch their pearls. Like, hold on. Who got wooden idols? Who got wooden idols? Not
Not
us.
this great city.
Not us. You don't mix us up. You see what I saying? And so yeah, God making it a little more specific to them. And yeah, so um a rare sighting or rare mention of Nebo, the Babylonian god, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of kings have that Nebo, Neb. You see what I'm saying?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar,
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nabonidus. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, or Bel, right? AKA Baal, or Bel Shazar. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? Bel T Shazar. Like, these just names that like they make sure that their names are represent God is represented in their name. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with like I want to say like Jewish like all throughout the Old Testament we used to see that people's names and it'd be like God is my hope, God is my strength. You know what I'm saying? God
Mm-hmm.
does this or God does that. His death shall bring like just representing their God in their name. Islamic countries, a lot of people have Islamic names.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So we can see Babylonians. They was also doing this just from their time as well. Um, the items were on the beast and on the cattle. Your carriage were heavily loaded, a burden to the weary beast. I thought that was funny because right now he even talking about carrying the idols. Even
Mm-hmm.
now, you see what they saying? Like you
Yep.
stressing out these beasts, these heavy idols that you got,
The,
or a
the,
bunch of idols that you carrying, stressing out your animals for no reason. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, so him popping his stuff, I am he, I'm God. We see God continues to do this, is well necessary. And this time, this is a message. I don't know if it's for the Babylonians or if it's to the Babylonians, but it's for the Babylonians. You see what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? This is a message specifically to them. We see God do that several times. This ain't even the first time he mentioned Babylon. When God he mentioned the devil, call him the king of Babylon if I'm mistaken, and then he just go on to describe the devil. So we can see this a connection of related prophecies all intertwined, and this ain't even the first mention of this thing, you know.
I agree, and then like even here thinking now, right? Like, because we talking about the physical idols they was carrying around back then, and God saying these things were heavy for you. And now I'm just thinking, like, yo, what modern day idols are people carrying around? You know what I'm saying? Like, what modern day idols we carrying around, even as Christians, right? Whether it's social media, whether it's like your pasta, a car, like a different desire, like a prized item, like. You'd be surprised, like what things you carrying around now in the modern day that are weighing you down.
Yeah, that's true. Like even I remember there's times when I used to like try to go the whole day without using my phone. And that's anxiety inducing now because it's like you're so connected to your phone. But when you do it, it's that freedom. You feel
Hmm.
free. Like I used to be in when like I like to play fantasy basketball. Not gambling for those who don't know the difference. This is more fun. I
The
play
streets
I
still
play
hot right now.
yeah, gambling is a big thing too, boy. But yeah,
Mercy.
I play fantasy basketball. I'm pretty good at it. And I was in this one league, and it was very contentious in there, bro. But everybody rowdy in there, like
Hmm.
everybody super competitive, bro. It's drama every week, bro. Somebody fussing at, somebody getting row out, all type of thing. And when you in a heated match, you want to know what people saying about you, but how you performing X, Y, Z.
Hmm.
And the Saba would just be such a benefit to me because one, I can't check the scores on the Saba. I don't do that. I try to disconnect from that. And I ain't in the group chat neither. Don't ask me but no trades. Don't ask me but nothing to do with this thing. And everybody in the group know that.
Hmm.
And that really used to be a weight off my chest. But like, it take like a couple of hours for me to just disassociate from
Decompress,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, decompress. But once I already flow in, I like, all right, cool. Like, whoo, this a bird. This truly a burden off me. And then, when the sun set again, I back into it. Now I getting upset with people saying like what I mean, all type of things. You just go back into it. But it's stuff like that just let you know that this is a self-inflicted burden, you know.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of the sentiment there. Like their idols were on the beast and on the cattle. Your carriages were heavily loaded, a burden to the weary beast, They
Hmm.
stood, they bowed down together. They could not deliver the burden. This thing, this a burden that you just it ain't necessary, But so many times we burden ourselves. I want to say a lot of things that we
A
are
lot,
burdened
bro.
by is unnecessary.
A lot. And and that's what God trying to say. Like, man, come to me all who are heavy burden and heavy laden, I will give you rest. And it's interesting, like how we see in here, like, almost like that same imagery, but he ain't really directly saying idols, right? But it's like the amount of stress inducing things that we put on ourselves, the amount of things we concern ourselves with, I wouldn't even say unnecessarily, but almost unconsciously obsessing with. And God's saying, bro, these things are kind of be like almost like idols to you, just because you've given it so much of your time, your energy, and your devotion. Your bills could almost be an idol to you in a weird way. And it's hard to think about it that way, but it's taking up so much of your time, energy, and devotion right now when God's saying, no, bro, like give this to me. Let me take this on because like I am the only one who can truly give you that peace. You trying to like you're trying to find in all these things, but they're truly just weighing you down. And I think that's beautiful in itself right there. And yo, stress we put on ourselves. Um, so going down the next thing. Um, and I just think it's still beautiful, right? Because I know we've talked about this in the last like three episodes, right? But like verse 10, not even from verse 9, like remembering of the former things of old, for I am God, there is no other like me. I am God, there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things that are not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand, and I will do all of my pleasure, calling a bird of prey from the east. calling a bird of prey from the east, the man who executes my counsel from a far country. Indeed, I have spoken it, and I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, and I will do it. And again, this talking about Cyrus, right? Talking about how Cyrus will come to Babylon and destroy it. Another pagan king, another kingdom that worships a bunch of idols. But God saying, I'm going to use this person to enact my will. And I am telling you it before it's going to happen. Who else but God can tell you the end from the beginning? You know what I'm saying? and and I mean, we have it multiple times. Like, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. In Isaiah 41, which we already covered a couple chapters ago, he said he's going to rise up one from the east. Persia was east of Babylon. So it's just showing God's plan of salvation for his people was crafted from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? And if we think about it, even to like Genesis, from when they eat the fruit in in the very chapter when God came back, he told Adam and Eve, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a plan of redemption from you guys. From the very beginning, I had a plan of redemption from you guys. Yeah, you're gonna have to get kicked out the Garden of Eden. Yeah, you're gonna have to, by the sweat of your brow, you're gonna eat. You're gonna have to suffer these consequences. And right now, we're telling the people about, like, the people of Israel, yeah, you guys gonna have to go into captivity. Yeah, you're gonna have to suffer some consequences. But I have a plan of redemption for you guys. Got anything else to say on that? Sorry, I've been talking a lot.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. This come up a couple times.
Mhm.
Verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I
Mhm.
will do all my pleasure. Even Jesus had the same sentiment when he's like, see, I am telling you beforehand so that when it comes to pass, you will believe.
Amen.
That is what saved me, bro. That revelation is what had me like, oh, Christianity is not something that I can negotiate. It's non-negotiable, but I can't sit there and say any doubts that I have are substantiated when I know that we have prophecy that is in the Bible that has come to pass, that is in the process of coming to pass
Mhm.
as well, And to me, it's like, bro, I rather go with the person. I rather be on the side, on the team of the being that could tell you these things way beforehand and it come to pass, bro. If that being is false, I don't think I should be responsible for being deceived by this level of supernatural ability. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you're giving me the play on how the world can end. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? How the Messiah to come. Like, excuse me. God has been so good at and obviously this is like understatement, but he's been so good at prophesying that when it comes to pass, people years later say, oh, this wasn't a prophecy. This was written after the fact.
Mhm.
Isaiah, for example, a lot of academic scholars believe that a lot of these prophecies were written after the fact. But I've heard, and this used to spook me when I was early in my journey. I would read up on Daniel because I feel like Daniel is like just the book was like, bro, this proves that Jesus is God, bro, and this proves that
Mhm.
Jesus and God are the true religion, right? And then you read it, and people saying, "Oh, Daniel wasn't written during the time when he said he was written. Daniel wasn't written during the Babylonian era. Daniel was written during the Greek era." That's a lot of people say. How do we know? Because there's so many apocalyptic writings during that time. Okay, okay. I don't like when people break down the reasoning behind their hypothesis. I'm like, bro, that's not good enough for me. Oh, um, the first five books of the Bible were written so long after it happened. They were not written by Moses, X, Y, Z. And I'm not firm on the Moses wrote this. I don't fully believe. I don't care who wrote it. I don't die on that hill. But
Mhm.
the reason why people say, "Oh, Moses ain't write it," is because one of the arguments is that, oh, one time they list him as they might say uh, Jehovah. Another time they might say Adonai. Why are they calling him two different names? And I'm like, bro, what? They literally in the same book of Numbers, they call Midian Jethro, and then they call him Midian. You see what I'm saying? Like in the same book, like two different names, the
Facts.
same person, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, and this wasn't one of the he had a name change like Abraham or Israel and Jacob. No, the same person they call two different names, bro. It might just be that the audience I'm speaking to or the thing that I'm trying to get across. You see what I'm saying? I use a different name, you know. I hear people call you C. I hear people call you Earl, bro. The same people can get bounced. You see what I'm saying? Like it just depends on the
Facts.
situation, bro. Like, you know. And yeah, man. So the prophetic, the prophetic elements of it to me is one of the most anchoring things to my faith. It anchors me. I believe in it, bro. And I even go as far to say, let me hear of other prophecies in other religions. I just ask ChatGPT, tell me the prophecies in the Buddhist and in Islam and stuff like that. And sometimes, bro, they do show prophecies, bro. To me, ain't net, but it the and take it a grain of salt. It's ChatGPT. This ain't an in-depth study, right? But I'm like, but this ain't nearly as thorough, as calculated, as even impressive. Some by one or two of the prophecies they say, I'm like, I don't even think that's a prophet. Like, I don't certain things that's gonna happen. Like when I tell you, I know somebody who say, "Oh, there could be a hurricane to hit Lucha or Exuma or
Mhm.
XYZ." He writing that all the time, bro. Eventually, it'll probably happen. And then you say, "Oh,
Okay.
look, as a prophet." I'm like, I don't see you as a prophet, bro. I can't tell you as a prophet, though. You know what I mean? If I say, bro, the stock market is gonna crash within the next 50 years, it's gonna have a crazy stock market crash, and then it crashed, bro.
Mhm.
Oh, he was a prophet. He said up. No, just it's just something that's likely to happen. You see what I'm saying? The time frame, especially if I don't put a date on it, the time frame, or if I don't say, hey, this is gonna happen before this, meaning like putting a time frame on it, it's just bound to happen. That's my opinion.
Fox. Fox. I got a question for you that kind of makes you think about the whole Cyrus rising up. And we ain't got to go on this topic too long because it is a touchy topic sometimes. But my is stop beating around the bush. The question is, do you think God still raises up leaders for his purposes today,
For
even when
sure,
those
bro.
leaders come from different places that people don't expect?
1,000%. 1,000%.
I agree. I agree with that too.
Yeah, I don't even have a doubt of that, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I 100% agree with that too.
Uh,
Because it's like, because I mean, because like, people read the Bible and they're like, yo, how is God using Cyrus, another pagan king? And I'm like, God could use whoever he wants to bring about his will.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that don't mean you have to like them. That don't
No,
even mean they have to be a
a good
good
kid.
person.
Because when we read this next chapter that we about to go into, that speaks
Hmm.
exactly what you're talking about, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So
No,
that's
no, hold on.
perfect.
Let
Go
me,
for
let
it.
me, let me, let me pull up a text real quick.
Go for it.
Um, um, give me 1 second. Let me just maximize the screen. Um, yeah, Daniel 2, chapter 21, right? So, do we believe, and this continuing your prompt, do we
Hmm.
believe that God still raises people to be leaders, even when they are not Christians, I'll just say, or Bible followers, or whatever, right? So Daniel 2, I start from chapter 19. Then the secret was revealed to Daniel in the night vision. So Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the season, and he removes kings and rises up kings. He
Hmm.
gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding, right? Who Daniel was talking to? Daniel was talking to Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel was talking to Nebuchadnezzar, and he telling Nebuchadnezzar, God raises up kings and removes kings, right?
Hmm.
Now, I mentioned who he was talking to. We have direct evidence in the book of Chronicles and Kings that God said Nebuchadnezzar was his servant. But
Hmm.
here, someone else is reiterating this. God raises up kings. He ain't saying he rose up Nebuchadnezzar. If God say I raised up Nebuchadnezzar and Cyrus, you could argue that this was a specific task
Hmm.
during a specific time, and this is what's needed. He's saying God rises up kings. Pro Job also has these same sentences. Remember when Job was going through his thing? He's like, oh, God has raised up kings, and then he's take them away. X, Y, Z.
Bro, and then even the next example I think of too, right? I can't remember the exact king's name right now, but remember, I think it was in Second Kings when God was telling shoot, who was it? One of them prophets. Who was the prophet back then, man? uh I Elijah or one of them, right? But he was saying, "Yo, go back by this way and not and I think it was Hazael,
Oh,
king of
Hosea,
Syria,
yeah, to
anoint
anoint.
him king of Syria, and then anoint the next one king of Israel." And you gotta remember, Syria was essentially your enemy. But
Enemies.
God's
Yep.
saying, "Bro, go and anoint the next king." And then God was saying, "Bro, I know the destruction this king about to do."
All of the crazy stuff he about to do,
Exactly.
the
And
heinous
so
stuff he about to do, and he still get anointed to begin.
exactly. So it's like, yo, God can still use people to enact his will, even when they ain't good people, even when you don't agree with them, even when you don't like them, even when they may be on the opposite side of the aisle from you politically. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, if they're in a position of power, God allowed it to happen,
But that's
whether
that's
you
that's the
like it or
bottom
not.
line. That's the bottom line. He
You know,
permitted it to happen.
he permitted it to happen. So,
Right.
boy, then they just got to pray and just trust God's will.
Yeah, and so let's go into this chapter because this is gonna speak to God's permission and not that it's like by permitting when God permits, that doesn't mean everything that happens is God's will, although
Mm-hmm.
He permitted it to happen. And we can see evidence of this in this chapter. And we could discuss some more.
Let's do this. So, Isaiah 47. Come down and sit in the dust. O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground without a throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans. But you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Remove your veil. Take off the skirt. Uncover the thigh. Pass through the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame will be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not arbitrate with a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. On the elderly you laid your yoke very heavily and said, I shall be a lady forever. So that you did not take these things to heart, nor remember the latter end of them. Therefore, hear this now, you who are given to pleasures, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their fullness, because of the multitude of your sorceries, for the great abundance of your enchantments. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have warped you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. Therefore, evil shall come upon you. You shall not know from where it arises, and trouble shall fall upon you. You shall not be able to put it off, and your desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall know. Stand now with your enchantments and the multitude of your sorceries, in which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps you will be able to profit. Perhaps you will prevail. You were wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers and the stargazers and the prognosticators stand up and save you from what shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves. From the power of the flame, it shall not be a coal to be warmed by, nor a fire to sit before. Thus shall they be to you, with whom you have labored, your merchants from your youth. They shall wander each one to his quarter. No one shall save you.
Mercy, mercy.
Mercy.
So, so one of the first things that that stood out to me that I wanted to touch on is
Mm-hmm.
that um verse 6. Well, should I even go all the way down there? Okay, let's go verse 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the Lady of Kingdoms, right? In Revelation 17,
Mm-hmm.
they talk about Mystery Babylon, right?
Mm-hmm.
They talk about Babylon. Babylon is used as a metaphor for all of the abominations, all of the world powers um, that rule the world and persecute God's people, right? And when that is now being destroyed, or when that is being addressed, they don't call her what they say, the Lady of, what they say in this one just now, I just lost it, Lady of Kingdoms, right? They call her the mother of harlots this time in Revelation 17, verse 5, right? Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth, right? And so here you could see where it's like this is talking to literal Babylon, right? The
Mm-hmm.
literal nation, and it might have prophetic future prophecy, end time prophecy implications as well, because they do the two Revelation 17 and 18 does parallel with this, and I'll say that. But this is
Mm-hmm.
more directly talking to the literal nation. And it's saying that when you all be destroyed, bro, people ain't gonna look at you like, oh, you was the great mother of these nations. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then what's so interesting in verse 7, oh, okay, verse 6, it says, I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and
Mm-hmm.
given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. This was a very heavy verse for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. They are being punished for being
Mm-hmm.
merciless, despite the fact that God gave them into the Babylonians' hands. Now God is holding them accountable for being merciless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so God has risen up Babylon to be the instrument of Judah's affliction and their punishment. But Babylon has also taken things overboard. I tell you, it's like someone say, it's like I have my oldest my daughter Nola, right? Let's say she's grow up to be like 15, 16, and then we have other younger kids or whatever. And I say, Nola, I can give you the opportunity to punish the young ones for what they do. Let's say they stay up past curfew or something.
Mm-hmm.
They do something that ain't really that big a deal. Like they do something trivial. You see what I'm saying? And Nola say, well, I I taking away your phone and you can't have no phone until you turn 18 or something like something drastic. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't think of the best thing. Or Nola give them just a very severe punishment, right? Now I gotta hold Nola accountable now because Nola, I tell you to to instill justice in this situation, but you instill cruelty. You
Mm-hmm.
going beyond the realm of justice, and the punishment ain't fit the crime type situation. You see, and that's what God is saying now. So in that way, we're looking at God, who in His infinite wisdom chose Babylon. You chose Babylon, and this what they do. So we can turn around and say, God, the elderly can turn around and say, God, you put these people in place and they inflict a heavy yoke on us. You even admit that this wrong. You see what I'm saying? But the
Mm-hmm.
truth is, we all have free will. So even
Mm-hmm.
though God put you in position, that don't mean you can't squander your position. That don't mean you can't misrepresent God. That don't mean you can't abuse your position. And we see these people, Babylon, everything about like Nebuchadnezzar has this thing where it's like he gave his life to God in the end of his story, and that's beautiful. But if that had not happened, every other evidence we have about him and as the Babylonian Empire, they were cruel, right? They weren't as cruel as some other people, but they were cruel, right? As is evident now.
Mm-hmm.
They were also very pagan, and they did
Very
not have,
prideful.
yeah, they're prideful, they're proud, and they didn't have regard for God. But this, the one who's your servant, the one who was a idol worshiper, last chapter you just was talking about they idol Nebu and Bel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's who you choose, God, right? And so we can see where Israel was so at fault that they needed punishment. And these were the best candidates for the job, so that's who God chose them to do. But even these best candidates now greatly sinned with the position that God gave them. And now God is in this place where, okay, these people needed punishment. I hire you to give them the punishment, but now y'all need punishment too. You see what I'm saying? And that's the type of government God have to run. Where it's like, bro, ain't nobody perfect. And so they susceptible to doing to sinning, and now I have to be the one to regulate all of that.
I agree. I agree. And it's the same thing, right? Like, it's almost like the human nature greed also leads to this too. We know Babylon was a very prideful nation, as we see here, and we see in past chapters, and even when we see in the book of Daniel. And it's like when you get in this prideful, powerful position, you tend to take advantage of your position when you don't follow, when you don't got God in your life. These people were pagans. They had no moral compass, for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to them, they riding on top. They gonna inflict the most amount of damage and cruelty they could on these people because y'all quite literally are beneath us in their eyes. You guys have to subjugate to us. We are the nation that conquered y'all. Y'all can't tell us nothing. And we take all the smartest people from y'all land and now we give them all new names. We try to essentially erase all of y'all culture. Like, this is who we are. We are the great nation Babylon. And you see the imagery God using here, like y'all was once a queen, but now essentially the imagery that God painting, which I like how you brought Revelation, but he's saying remove your veil, take off your skirt, uncover your thigh. He exposing y'all for the harlot y'all truly are. And so
Yeah.
now we get to Revelation, this ain't y'all ain't the prize kingdom no more, but y'all the harlot. Be showing y'all who y'all truly is. All this deception y'all was hiding behind, all of y'all enchantry, all y'all sorcery, all of y'all cruelty, all of y'all proudness, all of y'all arrogance. So let's expose it. Let's expose it. Let's show people who you really are. And we're seeing God humbling this kingdom. You guys thought that you guys could never fall. You guys saying what other kingdom besides us? You guys saying you are the ones who are going to who going to ruin forever. You know what I'm saying? God saying no, 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 no. Y'all saying in your heart there's no one else besides y'all? What are we talking about? Are you guys God? No, don't like I everything that you guys have as a kingdom, I allowed it to happen. And I only allowed it to happen because my people was fumbling the bag. Had
Exactly.
my people humbled themselves before me and served me and worshipped me only, y'all wouldn't be in this predicament right now. Y'all wouldn't be in the seat of power. Oh my. Oh,
Yeah,
what else you want to tackle?
no, I just seeing the same thing, bro. In Revelation 18,
Mm-hmm.
um, verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, lest you receive of her plagues. For
Mm-hmm.
her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities." They're talking about Babylon. "Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double to her works. In the cup which she has mixed, mix double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as a queen, and I am no widow. I will not see sorrow." Right. So you see that's a
All back to
direct,
Isaiah.
yeah, reference. You see what I'm saying to
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah, and so you can see even this Babylonian system, although it's further beyond the nation of Babylon, right? During our time, during the end times, before Jesus' return, this system is going to represent itself as pompous as before, right? As ensnaring as before, and just as and in the same way, the same punishment is going to be enacted. And it's funny because like we look at Babylon, we could see clearly that Babylon, oh, like from the text, Babylon was so proud, they were so this, they were so that, right? But what it feel like when you in it, when you living in it? I ain't talk about Daniel and the Jews because they was literally drug from their situation to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a disdain that you have, right? But us, we born in this Babylonian system, but everybody a lot of people believe that this is the end times. They've been saying Jesus is coming soon for a long time. Even Paul was saying Jesus is coming soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point in time, we have to admit that we living in the Babylonian system. At some point in time, we have to put a name on that arrow, bro. You see what I'm saying? And say, bro, this system that the world pushing us to, this is Babylon, bro. As proud, as arrogant, etc. And God literally saying, come out of that system, my people, please, or you can get out punishment, bro. You need to
Mercy.
treat her like she treating you, bro. You see what I'm saying? That's why you need to have that same disdain against her that she had for you, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything she give you, give her double, bro. Back,
Mm-hmm.
and and the pride, it still exists in the new system, though. It's not Babylon, it's not Nebuchadnezzar, it's not in this nation or whatever, right? But we believe it's the system, the papal system, the world, the united system to come, right? That is already have the groundwork in place. And but at the same time, she ain't saying that I'm no widow. God already said Babylon could be a widow. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But she's still saying, doubling down even to now. I said as a queen, I am no widow, and I will not see sorrow. When Israel was about to fall, when Israel was about to fall, all of the prophets saying, bro, we ain't about to fall. Mind you, Isaiah done prophesied, Jeremiah prophesied, Ezekiel prophesied, but there's a bunch of Pharisees saying, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, God's saying prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. But Jeremiah was the lone prophet saying at the time, at that specific time, saying, no, God, prophets, prosperity. God is coming he's sending people to destroy.
Right. Judgment is coming.
Judgment is coming. You know what I'm saying? And that it's the same thing, bro. I am no widow, and I will not see sorrow. And verse 8 of Revelation 18. Therefore, her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she'll be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. They talk about the kings of the earth, who will lament for her, things of that nature, you know, and they're mourn, oh Babylon, that great city, etc.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely gonna have a very long study of Babylon of Revelation when that time comes. But these things, I really am disappointed when people say, oh, don't read the Old Testament or the Old Testament null and void. You know what I mean? Because if Revelation is the last book,
Mm-hmm.
right, it's the most recent book of the Bible, and it is directly referencing all of these Old Testament books. That should invalidate the people who feel like Old Testament is irrelevant, because I am able to understand this text a little more when I know that this already been happening. This has already been prophesied about. This has already been a problem in the past, and now it's going to be a problem again. So God, because I believe the devil's schemes get more intense as things progress. I believe that these things, or these stories, or these references are of more importance, because you get to see the playbook. You get to see how it happened before, and now you could apply that to your own life.
I got a follow-up question, right? Because it's something you said, and it just pop in my mind. I think something we could discuss, right? So, if Babylon, if Babylon symbolizes the world system today, right? Like, what does it mean, and what does it look for us to come out of Babylon, as it says in what Revelation 18 verse 4, as you just quoted? Like, what does that look for us today practically? Because some people might say, man, like everything is so intertwined in our lives today. Like, what do you mean to come out of reality? Like what are we talking about? Like what are some practical steps we could give, or like just talk about for the audience?
The practical step, I would say, is to establish the difference between pure Bible beliefs and mainstream, or a system that is being pushed as Bible beliefs, right? In the political realm, when somebody says they are Christian, a lot of times their main talking points are abortion and homosexual and LGBTQ. If you read the Bible, there's a lot of topics, and those two are not the top. They're not the top mentioned. Abortion is not mentioned. I believe that's because of technology, as we mentioned earlier. It probably was not possible. I'm sure there was maybe some type of herb or something you could do, but it
Hmm.
wasn't mentioned directly, right? Murder or thou shalt not kill is the closest reference to that, right? Sexual orientation is mentioned several times, but it's not touched on as much as idolatry. In this same text, the very last chapter, God was talking about idols, 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 idols. You see what I'm saying? And now he's inflicting. He was talking about how. Let me not stray too far away from the topic. There are things that the world pushes as important to God, and there are things that the Bible pushes that is important to God. And sometimes the two they contradict each other. So I'm not saying, oh, don't watch TV, don't do it. I'm not saying be a hermit by any means. I'm just saying that there's going to be mainstream ideologies. What they want you to believe Christ is like, what they want you to believe Christ cares about, and the mainstream are of no authority to say what Christ is like or what Christ wants you to believe. Christ has blessed us with the word for us to read and to study so that we may not be deceived, right? And so the Babylonian system, I believe, is going to be a collection of kings, presidents, nations, all on one accord, all of one agenda to centralize beliefs, right? And that's going to seem like so much good is going to come out of that. And then it's going to come a time when it's like,
And
hey,
peace.
say it again.
I say so much good and peace.
And peace, right? So that's going to be the antidote, right? Peace is the antidote. We put all this together equals peace, right? And then it's going to come a time when if you do not follow our way, if you do not follow our way, you die. And why do we say that? Let's look at the story of the most popular story of Babylon that we know of, right? Daniel and the lion's den. When they play the sounds,
the three Hebrew boys.
The three Hebrew boys, right? When they play the music, when you hear all the music, you bow down or die or go to the fire, right? We know how that ended. They did not die, right? It come back around again, right? In the same nation, in the same country, but it was a different nation ruling now. It's the Persians ruling now. And they say, hey, let's put in paper a decree. We only worshiping you, king. We only worshiping the king, right? Anybody else who worship any other god, you're dead. You're going to the lion's den. So we see Daniel. Daniel's still praying 3 times a day. They catch him. They sentence him to death, right? And so that's a pivotal part of the story of Babylon. Worship the way we want you to or die. It's not freedom of religion. And I ain't saying that countries that don't have freedom of religion. Anyway, I ain't getting into that topic. It's not freedom of religion, and it's a centralized belief system that's inflicted on people. And we could see clearly that in the times of Babylon, during the time of Daniel, it directly contradicted the word of God. Period. And so that's the system. That's mystery Babylon. So come out of Babylon means come out of mainstream Christianity, come out of mainstream ideologies, and focus purely on thus saith the word of the Lord. When the devil visited Jesus after he was fasting, he was in a very weak state physically, but he was strong spiritually. The devil tried to attack Jesus with things that he wanted and tried to get Jesus to disobey God and to obey him. And Jesus responded by saying, thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Lord. When we think about the armor of God, we have the sword of the Spirit, we have the breastplate of righteousness, we have the helmet of salvation, you know what I'm saying? I think we have the belt of truth.
Yep.
I don't know
Shoes of peace.
Shoes of peace, right? Yeah. And then we have the sword of the Spirit, which is the word. The only weapon you have out of everything else is defense. The only weapon you have is the sword. And so I just want people out there listening to be mindful of how what is being taught and what is generally accepted may truly be in opposition to what is Bible. Isaiah 46 reminds us that while idols collapse under their own weight, God is the one who carries us from beginning to end. And Isaiah 47 shows the fall of Babylon, a warning that pride and false confidence can't stand against God's justice. Together, these chapters call us to trust the God who saves and to turn away from anything that can't. And we'll talk more about the prophecies in the book of Isaiah on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your host, Nakhaz Gay. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at Abreathoffreshairpod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.